Welcome back everybody, and what I'm going to be talking about today is the second part in this little mini series of Humanitarian Drivers Bug Out Kit. Okay then, so in this part, this is the second part of my mini series about the Humanitarian Drivers Bug Out Kit. What I'm going to be talking about is the actual bug out bag itself. Now it doesn't matter what you call that bag, whether you call it a get home bag, a grab bag, a bug out bag, it doesn't matter, it's doing the same thing. Alright, what I'm going to be talking about is basically a bag that a driver, should he come under any kind of attack, any kind of emergency, he or she can actually grab that bag, get out the vehicle, and it's going to aid them. Alright, so it's going to aid them to survive for at least 24 hours, a little bit of shelter, food, water, all that good stuff, to help that person get to a safer area, hopefully get to friendly forces, and get back to their own sort of home base or whatever it's going to be. So that's basically the basis of this video, is the bug out bag itself. So this is the bag that I've gone for, okay? And what you want to be doing, it doesn't matter what bag you've got, it doesn't matter about brand names and that sort of stuff, but what you want to be doing firstly is sizing your bag up to make sure you've got enough capacity to carry what you want. You want to be weighing it up between not going too big but not going too small. All right, so get your content sorted first and then look at the size of the bag. But secondly, what you want to be looking at is a bag that's non-military looking again. All right, so if you think it's a good idea to get down to the army surplus shop and buy yourself one of those, I don't know, Northern Ireland 35 litre bags, yeah, they're decent bags and all that, but as you're running away from your vehicle wearing a camouflage backpack, those factions, those troops, whatever, that have already shot at you are going to be thinking, yeah, it's definitely it's definitely one of the guys we're after, and they're probably going to shoot you dead. All right, it's all about trying to stay in that sort of grey man kind of that image of a grey man. So this is a completely full-on civilian bag. There's no mole on the back of it, but also if you have a look at it, it's nondescript, just a black plain bag. There's no shiny stuff on it, okay? So if you were kind of on the run in like an E&E type scenario, even the logo, it's like a low profile logo, okay? There's only one very small bright coloured thing, and that's this handle here, which I'll come onto in a minute, which you can tuck away anyway if you really wanted to. Alright, so going into the contents of the bag then, what you want to do is prioritise what you need at hand, to be absolutely instantly accessible. And what's the most important thing if you've been shot at or blown up? It's your med kit, isn't it? Okay, so what I've got first then, that little red handle I just mentioned there, you just grab that, pull it out, and I've got what I call my trauma kit there. Okay, so this pack here is a Tasmanian Tiger, I think they call it their IFAC pack or something. First thing you've got is you've got your gloves there, so if you're treating a casualty, you can put your gloves on there to prevent cross-infection. There's a small little light I've put in there as well, so if you're working at night you've got an instant access to light. And then here I've got some cleansing wipes to clean down wounds and stuff as you're treating them. Going into the actual pack then, I've got an Israeli trauma dressing, I've got a tourniquet, and then I've got small sort of dressings and stuff. There's a load more dressings and stuff in here, tape, a pair of scissors to access wounds, and then a Sharpie pen there as well to potentially write on a casualty if you've had to apply a tourniquet. Just one on tourniquets, you need to be trained in how to use these things. Okay, you can do a lot of damage with these if you don't know what you're doing with them. Okay, that's just a very brief run through that. I've gone into more detail on that on my bug out med kit video, which I'll put a link to in this. So that's my initial trauma kit there. Okay, so that's held in this little sort of spandex pocket at the back. On the outside I've also got 2 water bottles. Okay, so each one of those holds 3/4 of a litre, so I've got 1.5 litres of water there, and I'd say 1 litre is going to be your bare minimum, so I've gone a little bit over that, but 1.5 litres there, and they're in these Eurohype bottles, which are pretty cheap from places like Black's, but they're quite decent. Again, there's nothing shiny, they're not big shiny silver water bottles, so they're fairly discreet. Okay, opening up this outside pouch here then, what we've got at the top then is a Lumi Vest. Alright, so talking about normal life stuff, if you did have to go out onto the road to change a tyre or something like that, then you've got your sort of safety bit of kit there. And the other thing this does is if you were having to move through an area, you know, say if there's general normal life stuff going on with people, you know, fixing stuff, I don't know, moving around, emergency services, this could help you potentially even blend in, couldn't it, you know? The other thing this can do, you can use this as an emergency signalling device, all right? So obviously it's super bright, it's got your reflective panels on, that sort of thing. So if you were in an area where you couldn't move for some reason, if you was injured, you could use this to attract attention, but it's tucked away in the bag so it's not being shown. The other thing you can use this for is if you are moving down roads and you don't want to get run over, basically, you could stick this on the back of the backpack or on yourself, and you know, that's going to help prevent an accident in that sort of capacity there. Something that is kind of underrated by people doing this sort of thing is your electronics, and I've got like a waterproof bag there, because anything electronic needs to be held in a waterproof bag, doesn't it? So within this bag then, I've got a charging pack there with all the leads for all the different devices I've got. I've got a plug, so if I did need to plug it into a wall, and associated with that I've got the correct adapter for, you know, whatever country I might be in. You need to make sure you've got the right adapter to fit your plug. I've also got an adapter to fit into a vehicle, so if you know you do get the opportunity to charge something from a vehicle, you've got that there as well. The last thing I've got in here, hidden around the back then, is a little USB drive, and in here I've got a load of documents, so things like my passport, driving license and all that sort of stuff, held within this little USB drive here, so that I've got an electronic copy of important documents actually within my bag as well as the actual real sort of stuff within my pockets. I've got a little waterproof bag here, so within this I've got toilet paper, a couple of lighters and some AAA batteries for the different devices that I've got. So any electronic devices, whatever batteries you use, make sure you've got backup batteries and make sure they're held in some sort of waterproof container. Water filter, so this is a Sawyer water filter, mini water filter. I've done a video on this, again I'll put a link on the description, but basically if you're out in the woods, if you're out in the wilderness, you've had to do a runner from your vehicle, it's a good idea to be able to purify your water so you can actually make it safe to drink. Okay, last thing in this sort of section here then, so this is my EDC pouch, and I've done a video on this. Obviously if I was travelling overseas I wouldn't have that patch on there, but you know, for the sakes of this video I've just whacked it on there. I have done a video on this, but I'll go through just a couple of key items that are in here. You can see there I've got a waterproof notebook, that's a Modestone notebook, better than Write in the Rain. They're actually a good bit of kit. You can get these from Contact Left in the UK. Load of pens and pencils, some super glue, obviously great for fixing things, you can even use that for closing wounds, cord, different types, Leatherman, backup torch and some black and nasty tape, and there's some more items in the back there. Again, I've covered this in detail on my previous video on the EDC pouch. In these little slot pockets here then I've got a few sort of key items. One of them is a monocular. Alright, now you might be thinking, well, what the flipping heck's he got a monocular in there for? This is obviously great for recceing, checking things out at distance. And if you are in a very hostile environment, this could be a very useful bit of kit. So, for example, you was wanting to approach a building, but you wanted to make sure there wasn't any hostiles in there. Check it out from a distance before you approach it and put yourself at further risk. Something like that, you know. If I was travelling to the Ukraine, I'd take all this green stuff on because it kind of indicates it's a kind of semi-military. But that's just how I've got mine set up. Going into the next one then is a compass, so you definitely need to have some kind of compass. This could potentially be held in your jacket if you think it's safe just sitting in your jacket and it's not going to get broken, but definitely have a compass on you of some sort. And then this side I've just got a couple of silooms, a couple of light sticks. These can be used to mark an area. If you've left it, maybe you've had to leave your bag to go and check something out. You could use it to mark your way through an area. You could put it in, you could tie these onto the back of your bag or slot them into the little Smandic pouch there. So if you're walking down the road, again, it's another means of preventing you getting run over, stuff like that. But loads of good uses for those. Instant light, basically. And then in here, I've got just a little Ziploc bag. And what I use this personally for is just putting all my rubbish in. That might seem like a low priority if you're in the dangerous area, but for example, if someone was trying to hunt you down, you don't want to be leaving your discardables all over the place, do you? So that could actually be quite important. Just looking after, making sure you're looking after your rubbish and stuff. And it doesn't matter where you are, I'd never leave rubbish laying around anyway. So it's just good drills in general. That's that part covered there. Okay, going into this section here at the back, then this is designed for your laptops and stuff. So if you did have a laptop or something like that in there, then that's where you're going to have it. What I've got in here then is a map, and I've got it in a map case, a waterproof map case. So it's a good idea, if you can source one of the local area you're going to be travelling through, to have a map case. So if you are having to navigate your way around an area, then you've got the means to do it alongside your compass. And that's all I've got in that section there. In the top here then, really easy access, so stuff I want to be able to get to quickly. So first thing I've got, and I think this is for any sort of outdoor stuff, is an absolute essential, is a head torch. Okay, so this is one I've got recently from a company called Through Night, and this is a super bright head torch. It's a bit unusual, a bit sort of different looking from the ones you normally see, but the reason being is you can detach that from the actual headband, and you've got like a little handheld torch then. And using this clip here, you can also clip that to your clothes, so you put that around the back, you can put it on like a harness or on your clothes, and you've got hands-free sort of light on your chest as opposed to on your head. So just different ways of using it, but a super bright little head torch, great for all sorts of uses. Next thing I've got in here then is some water purification tablets in a little case. So again, great for purifying your water. And the last thing I've got is a spoon. You know, you need a spoon to eat. And we'll be going into the bag talking about the rations and stuff. So that's something that you're going to want to get in and out fairly rapidly. That's why I've got it on the external pocket there. Going into the main bag, what I've got is a dry liner. You need to waterproof your kit, okay? It's all very well sat in your vehicle thinking, yeah, it doesn't need to be waterproof, but once you're out your vehicle, the weather out there is going to be nasty. It's going to be snowing and raining, so make sure you've got your kit waterproof, however means you're going to do that. Okay, so first thing I've got is another little dry bag. That's more for organisational capacity. In this, I've got things like gloves and hats. So, woolly hat, really important in a cold environment like Ukraine in the winter. Pair of gloves, you know, your hands are going to be flipping freezing once you're out that vehicle. And now I've got this neck gaiter stroke snood. Really good way of keeping the heat in your body is some sort of scarf or a snood sort of thing. Okay, so that's them items there. Next thing I've got then, talking about, you know, having things that you need to have at hand really quickly. This is a waterproof jacket. So this isn't a token effort, Pack-a-Mac. It does pack into its own pocket, but this is a Rab Gore-Tex waterproof. Well, I don't know if it's Gore-Tex, but it's a waterproof jacket, and it's a decent one. Again, it's plain colours. It's not going to attract attention. It's not bright red or orange, and it's not camouflage. But that's a decent level of protection from rain and snow. Next thing I've got then is a warm jacket. So, you know, a thermal layer. This is an Arc'teryx jacket, I can't remember the model, but it's a decent sort of compact warm layer, and it doesn't matter what the make is, get something in your bag for 100% definite. You need to have some kind of warm layer, because the enemy will probably be the environment. It's going to be freezing, okay? So make sure you've got something to keep you warm in there. Really important, that bit. Okay, you can see here I've got a whole load of food basically. So this is 48 hours worth of rations. So this is rations out of a military ration packs. I've also got 2 packets of super noodles broken down into another Ziploc bag because it takes up less space. And you've definitely got enough food there for 2 days. That includes snack bars, chocolate bars, all that good stuff. But there's enough in there to, you know, keep yourself moving for 2 days. In conjunction with that, then really you want to have a way of cooking it. So I've chucked a jet boil in there. There's some gas obviously in there, but whatever you've got, you know, use whatever cooker you prefer using, or whatever you want to get. There's brew kit in that rations as well, I didn't mention. So having a cup of coffee or a tea does, you know, wonders for your morale, and actually will sort you out as well. So make sure you've got something to cook with. So I've got a secondary med kit here. This is more for your your bites, scrapes, bumps, that sort of thing. And, you know, just your general ailments. So there's some medication and stuff, but I've covered this in my bug out med kit in great detail, so I'll leave it there. Okay, next thing I've got, this is a Cierzo wind shirt. So this is a great sort of over layer just to throw over your clothing quickly to keep the wind off. The other thing is, it's this colour. All right, now that's called digital night camouflage. It's not blatantly military, but it is kind of a greeny colour. And what this will do is, if you just throw it over your top, it will give you a level of sort of concealment if you need that whilst you're out in the woods, rather than being black. Okay, so that's another thing that does. It's another thing that kind of gives you that layer of camouflage to a degree. But I wouldn't be walking around with this on unless, you know, I considered it a good idea. Next thing I've got in here then, so there's a pair of socks and a base layer. So that's another layer of warmth there, and also it's an alternative to what you're wearing. So if you did get wet, whether that's through sweat or rain or whatever, you've got the option of changing it out. And a pair of socks is really important. Obviously your feet, if they start getting wet, they're going to get cold and you're going to suffer. So in a sort of separate waterproof bag as well. Next thing I've got here then, this is a Solid Skate Bivvy. So it's a little bivvy bag. You can put that over you and help keep the warmth in, and also that will help keep the elements off as well. Next thing I've got is a Rab Sill Tarp 1. So this is big enough for one person, and inside here I've also got tent pegs. There's cords attached to the actual bivvy itself as well. So when I say bivvy, it's a basher, okay, so it's like a little tarp thing. And it's really important that you've got some sort of shelter. If you're caught out in the wilderness, you need to keep the rain and snow off your head. All right, so that's just a small one of those. You can buy the military ones pretty cheap. This is plain green again, so it's less military looking than the army issued DPM ones or MTP. Okay, next thing I've got in here then is a small wash kit, and all I've really got in here is a load of wet wipes, toothpaste, toothbrush, and then I've got a cut down pack towel as well. So I give pretty low priority really to keeping clean and tidy when I'm out in a sort of dangerous area personally, but you do need to look after your teeth, okay? So just a means of tidying yourself up a little bit, but you don't need to worry about things like deodorant and that, because that's probably going to have a negative effect. If they can smell you, if people are looking for you, then that's not a good thing, okay? So just a little means of keeping yourself a bit clean and stuff. Alrighty, this little packet here then. Now this is possibly not as essential as some of the other stuff, but it may be depending on the scenario. This is what I call my little kind of mini survival pack. It's just a few bits and pieces basically. So there's another means to start fire. So there's some survival windproof matches. There's basically a little fire tin here. So you've got tinder, you've got fire plugs, all that sort of stuff in there. And then some paracord, so a whole load of paracord, fire steel, so well, it's not exactly a fire steel, it's actually a ferro rod and striker, so a means of starting fire again. An aluminium foil blanket, and then a couple of trash bags. So these can be used for all sorts of good stuff. These can be used for help constructing shelters, collecting water. You can use these for making a browse bed, so like a little mattress thing full of leaves, that sort of stuff. So that stuff there is just in case it's gone really bad and you need to sort of extend your time when you're outdoors. Next thing I've got here then is a jungle blanket by Snug Pack. These are a great little bit of kit. It's not a full-on sleeping bag, and the reason why I haven't gone for that is because you need to try and keep the bag as compact as possible. If you want to put a sleeping bag in, yeah, you could do. It's going to be more comfortable, but you're going to have a far bigger bag. So personally, what I would go for is something like this that you can just wrap around yourself just to keep nice and warm. And you're hoping not to have to sleep outside anyway, aren't you? You're basically going to be on the run, trying to get back to friendly sort of forces. Okay, last thing I've got in here then is a sleeping mat. So I've got a nice compact, small. This is only like a 2/3 size one, so it's not a full body size. It's made by Multimat, and it's nice and small and compact and light, so that's why I've gone for that one. I've not gone for one of the big sort of foam ones, and that's the content of the pack right there. So that's my bug out bag section completed for this part of the video. Let me know your thoughts, comments, and good luck to all those guys that are doing this work. Really, really, good effort to you. You're doing a great thing. Stay safe. All right. Cheers, everyone. Stay prepared.